hear the gunfire. I could see everybody. I could see my own body laying down there.
It was a beautiful night in Las Vegas on October 1st, 2017. This is minutes before the deadliest mass shooting on American soil since Wounded Knee in 1890. About 22,000 attended a country music festival called Route 91 Harvest that was headlined by the great Jason Aldean. This was a 3-day festival. Let's watch a bit of Jason Aldean just before and as shots rang out.
I could hear the gunfire. I could see everybody. I could see my own body laying down there.
Come on, guys!
Let us walk through gunfire. Let us go.
Is she shot too?
I'm gonna sit down and get on my knee, okay?
Okay. We hanging in there? Okay, I gotta keep that pressure, sweetheart.
Can you get an ambulance here, like real quick?
They're all coming right now.
Okay, because she got a gunshot to her lungs.
I don't know. Okay, listen. Oh my God.
Hurry up! Right now, we need your truck. We just need to get people over to the hospital, okay?
Okay.
Hey, we have room in here. We have room for one in the neck. Hang in there, please. Hang in there.
You guys are gonna be okay. We'll be back.
Keep going. Everybody, keep going. What in the actual... We need a ride immediately. Right. Get her in! Put her in! Right now. Let's go. Close that door! We're married 22. I'm at the UFC with a female with a gunshot wound to the head.
58 concert goers were pronounced dead that night, and 2 more would die later from their injuries, bringing the death toll to 60. 423 were wounded, and another 400 plus were injured in the stampede of people. And the official narrative put out was almost instant. We were told almost instantly that Stephen Paddock, the alleged gunman, acted alone. Here is the Las Vegas sheriff, now Nevada governor, Joe Lombardo, on October 2nd, a few hours after the shooting. Lombardo says that reports on social media that there were multiple shooters have been proven false.
This is an ongoing investigation, but we are comfortable that the primary aggressor in this event has expired or passed away and is no longer a threat. There's been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false.
Well, I don't know how they could have arrived at the conclusion that there was just one shooter so soon after the shooting. Had ballistics by this point matched all 1,100 bullets that were fired to guns in Paddock's room?
Investigation and response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead currently. He has been identified. He is a local resident. I will not release his name at this time.
And by the way, notice this fellow looking over Sheriff Lombardo's shoulder. That's the head of the FBI Las Vegas office. His name is Aaron Rouse. And here's what's interesting about Aaron Rouse. Before this, in 2016, Aaron Rouse was the section chief in the FBI's counterintelligence division at FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. And counterintelligence in the FBI effectively means the CIA. And Aaron Rouse hardly says anything at these press briefings. He's just there monitoring Lombardo. And we'll talk about why this is important in a bit, because we're examining here whether the massacre in Las Vegas was a CIA operation. And after you're done with this video, I'll be very interested in reading your views on this in the comments, and on whether you think I've connected enough dots on this to make at least a circumstantial case that this was a CIA operation. And it's quite clear here to me that Sheriff Joe Lombardo was just reading a script that was handed to him. Aaron Rouse was a constant presence at Sheriff Joe Lombardo's press briefings, and Rouse hardly says anything, ever. He would just watch and nod in occasional agreement as Sheriff Joe Lombardo would nervously and defensively stumble through his press briefings.
You picked up on it. Yes, the timeline associated with the original shot and Mr. Campos has changed through investigation, as I have conveyed to you from the very beginning. And your zest for information is some things are going to change. Now, they are minute changes, not completely inaccurate. There is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD, and the MGM. Nobody is attempting to hide anything reference this investigation. My intent, like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public. Everybody understand that? No question, sir.
Did you see any evidence that he planned to survive this or try to escape?
Yes.
Can you tell us what website?
I can't tell you.
And Sheriff Lombardo's body language tells me that he's not believing a word of what he's saying. I mean, Joe Lombardo, he looks like a hostage at these press conferences.
This press conference will probably be a little bit different than you experienced earlier. It's going to be more informational versus Q&A. So my intent today is to provide some clarification on some outstanding issues out there in the public forum on reference timeline, to a couple other items, okay? And a couple of these items I will read from the narrative. Most of this conference will be done strictly through my narrative provided to you, okay? So, there was no integrity question associated with that, but I'm here to tell you we are standing hand in hand with the FBI in the continuance of this investigation, in the beginning throes of it and in the continuance of it. Our portion at LVMPD has become contracted. We'll have a closing of the conference.
So the official narrative is that the Vegas massacre was conducted by one man alone. This out-of-shape 64-year-old named Stephen Paddock. We're told that this man single-handedly fired 1,100 rounds from the 32nd story of the Mandalay Bay at a crowd of concert goers more than 1,000 feet away. We're also told that he knocked out these two enormous panes of hurricane-proof glass windows on his own. Also, we're told that he was running back and forth between these two rooms and firing at these two broken windows over a 10-minute period. And somehow, while he was running back and forth, covering these long distances between the two windows in two separate rooms, the gunfire barely paused. He managed to keep the gunfire continuous, apparently while he was running back and forth between these two rooms. And he did this for 10 minutes of just continuous firing. We're told the gunfire started at 10:05 p.m. Then at 10:16, we're told that he committed suicide, shot himself in the head. Now, have you ever heard of a 64-year-old man in poor physical condition doing anything like this? Mass shooting murders are a young man's crime, usually a teenager. So we supposedly have this lone gunman. No one else is involved, we're told. And no motive. That's the official story. But what about all these people killed over here, out of line of sight from Mandalay Bay, where Paddock was supposedly firing from? A group of 6 bodies were found at the far right corner of the festival grounds, behind a big barrier, far from where the shooter was shooting.
Then there was a group of 6 bodies that were found in close proximity, right between the church and the festival grounds. So this would be on the street on the east side of the festival grounds, which is behind a long privacy wall. They were found along the fence line. So there's no way that a person, if you can't shoot what you can't see.
Also significant here is 20 bodies found right in front of the stage. Many of the people that were standing there believed that shots were coming also from the stage area. And about 1/3 of those who were killed had headshots, which suggests precision. The shots coming from the 32nd floor were rapid fire, not precision shots. Now I need to pause here for a disclaimer so that this video doesn't get banned by YouTube. So just consider everything I say here as parody, satire, entertainment, personal opinion, conjecture, speculation, wild musings, insane rantings. Got it? Also be sure to look up Las Vegas shooter or Stephen Paddock on Wikipedia to find the official version, which I link to below. In fact, if this video is not taken down, I'm sure YouTube will slap a big fat note on this video linking to Wikipedia for the official account. Good, you should read the Wikipedia version and then tell me if you think the official narrative makes any sense at all. Okay, now that that disclaimer is over with, let's proceed. Now, precision headshots for many of the victims would be produced either by close-range pistols or by a sniper firing single precision shots. And many of the concert goers felt that the shots were being fired from ground level, that these shots were coming at them horizontally, not from high up.
All of a sudden we hear the little whizzing going by us, and the bullets are just flying by. And when something's coming up and down, or at least from a different angle, they're either going to hit the ground, they're going to a lot of different things are going to happen. When someone's shooting from a straight horizontal line, it's just going to keep flying. As soon as we heard a little break in it, we knew we had to keep running.
Dead center.
Dead fucking center, dude.
Alright, yeah.
Shit. That guy, see, same thing. That guy was a fucking headshot right in the fucking forehead.
Fuck, man. There can't be that many headshots with that amount of people over here. It had to be targeted. It had to be targeted.
Not one guy did not do all this. There is no way.
Holy shit! Is that?
Okay, hey, let's go. That's close. That's real close.
And then I moved. Oh, thanks.
Our SWAT took down one suspect on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay.
They did.
Yeah.
That's high power though. They're all the pronouns I did were all headshots, bro.
But we know.
Yeah.
And we have multiple different calibers, so I'm just saying we have at least one suspect down. There's most likely more than one.
Just make sure, look at his forehead.
Yeah, that's fucking dead center.
Dead fucking center, dude.
Alright, yeah.
Shit. That guy, see, same thing. That guy was a fucking headshot right in the fucking forehead.
Fuck, man. There can't be that many headshots with that amount of people over here. It had to be targeted.
Many report getting closer to incoming gunfire as they tried to flee the venue, heading away from Mandalay Bay toward Hooters and MGM.
We're getting over now, and now we're running across the street, and we hear shots coming from like Hooters, MGM area. Over there. There was shots coming from over there, and there was shots going from Mandalay Bay.
Every other person that I've talked to that did get unfortunately hit as well have all said the same things.
They know that there was multiple shooters.
Sounded like there were a dozen shooters.
The New York Excalibur shooting was right outside. It wasn't inside. It was outside. We saw the muzzle flashes.
I don't want to.
I just found it in the street, brother. 223 round right here.
Anyone got a glove?
Okay? I don't know if it's any help. I just want you guys to know.
Love it.
Somebody handed me a 223 round they found on the ground outside.
Outside there?
That's not a 223.
No, that's a, yeah.
Somebody was coming in from the here. It'd be the north side. North side? Yep. Somebody was coming in. How many? Just one?
Control misadvising there are people down on stage left. We have multiple casualties. CSWs in the medical tent. Multiple casualties. Control, be advised. Shots are coming from
Back here, if you want some more cover.
No, come here. Hey, get behind cover.
Now it sounds like it's coming from farther away.
There was also shooting going on inside of the Mandalay Bay.
It sounded like more than one machine gun, and it just didn't stop.
We heard gunshots from around the corner. We were in the Delano, right next to a walkway that connects the Mandalay Bay and the Delano.
Multiple shots fired.
We were the furthest VIP stages away from Mandalay Bay, and they were ricocheting everywhere where we were, and they were unloading clip after clip after clip after clip.
There's a shooter, you believe?
Multiple shooters. It has to be.
One. It kept coming. That's the thing. It wasn't that, okay, let's all leave and now it's okay. No. We all started running and they came in. That's why there's no humanly possible way that guy, that was the only shooter. And it's definitely someone on the ground.
Concert. I'm waiting for somebody to come through that entrance because it sounds like they're on the ground.
The gunfire's approaching where we were. They just started getting closer and closer and louder and louder. I knew we were getting gunshots that were closer to us than where they originally started, and that's when we knew we had to run.
Let's hear what Naomi has to say. She was a worker at the concert.
We just thought, what's going on? We didn't know where it's coming from. We're still stunned. We're thinking it's shooting. We're thinking it's not. So we're still kind of not wondering what's going on because they sounded at a distance.
Right.
They sounded very far
And that's
away.
really important is the first shots that you were telling me about, they sounded at a distance.
Yes. We're all hiding. We're trying to protect each other.
And now we're going east, correct?
Yes.
And that's towards Reno Street.
That's towards Reno Street, Giles. All the streets where the airport, towards the airport
Yes,
more.
where the big tanks are.
Yeah, where the fuel tanks
Fuel
were.
tanks are.
That's where all the country singers bus train was at and everything.
Okay.
That's where in the corner where we were at. They started getting closer. We started hearing, as the shooting kept going, the shooting was louder and louder.
So it's getting closer and closer
yes,
and
it
closer.
sounded closer and closer. And you cannot tell me that there was nobody there because those shootings sounded like they were walking towards us.
Yeah.
When all those people, including myself, heard those, we were frantic because those things were getting closer and closer.
Closer and closer.
So then they pulled us out trying to tell us we had to run because they were going to come and kill us. So
Wow.
we start running in that direction. We start running towards where the buses are for all the country singers. And we're running towards that way. We start going towards the Giles Street, which is right there on Mandalay Street.
Yes.
We start going that way. There's a stop sign there. We kept running. As we're running, we still keep hearing them really, really, really loud. And I'm running, and I have my sister at that time on the phone because I wanted somebody to know where I was at, what was going on. And I'm still running, and I just could hear it. And there was so many people just running frantically and everything, and I couldn't run anymore. And I have people telling me, you got to keep running, you got to keep running. They're getting closer and closer. We just didn't have no breath.
So the shots are getting louder and louder and louder.
And louder. And by that time, I'm already running past the apartments that were there. I'm already running by the employee parking, which was the desert right next to the apartment, which was right there by the corner of the fuel tanks that were right there. And I'm still running.
Yeah, she's very clear here. The first shot sounded like they were at a distance, which makes sense if they were coming from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. So now she hears shots that sound like they're getting closer even though she's running away from the Mandalay Bay Hotel. She says she's running and running and running, but the gunfire keeps getting closer.
If you can figure yards, how many, say, yards have you run up to this point when you've reached the desert?
Oh, I think I ran probably 1,000 yards.
Okay, and it was still getting louder and louder.
Oh yes, they were still loud. I ran with other people to the airport thing that right before Signature Airport. There was an office porter there, and security let us in, and we had an off-duty officer in there, and he kept dictating us what Metro was hearing. And Metro was stating to him there was multiple shooters, and we needed to stay there.
I want you to repeat what security told you. Well, he heard Metro saying and what he told you. Repeat that, please.
Metro officer said there was multiple shooters.
Okay.
And that we needed to stay in there because it was not safe to come out of there yet.
So she estimates that she ran about 1,000 yards, which is 3/4 of a mile or so. And the gunfire just kept getting louder and louder. And when she says Metro, that means police. It's the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. And Metro Police at this point are saying there are multiple shooters.
The kind of sounds that we heard, so automatic. There's no way when I see those pictures of these things that you have to clock into the gun.
Yeah.
The sounds that we heard, there's no way you took that couple seconds to put it. It sounded like those
continuous.
things that continuously
They're major
going on.
canisters.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's how it sounded like. The amount
Continuously.
of running that I had to do, so much, shooting that there was. There's no way that you tell me that he was just uploading and putting that.
Right.
It just seemed like forever.
Yeah.
It seemed like forever, and nobody can tell anybody that was there that it wasn't nobody there. There was other people there. Not one person that was there that could sit there and say, well, there was one. No, there wasn't.
So it's really just common sense. There's just no way a lone, out-of-shape, 64-year-old man in poor health could be doing all of this. She says no one who was there believes that there was a single shooter.
And my brother as well, when the shots were going and he knew it was shooting, and when he heard those, that's when they all ran for cover and they went up to the VIP lounge. And that's when there was a girl 2 feet away from him, and he saw her drop, and so him and some other bar staff decided to pick her up. When they picked her up, the shock of them to see the hole on her face.
Does it sound to you like Naomi is lying here? Just doesn't know what she saw and heard? Also, many concert goers report seeing a shooter firing a rifle in this parking lot right here by Gate 7. And indeed, police actually tell us that gunfire is coming from Gate 7, which is not near the Mandalay Bay Hotel. It's the opposite direction.
Control is advising there are people down on stage left. We have multiple casualties, GSWs in the medical tent. Multiple casualties. Control, be advised, shots are coming forward, coming from stage. Here, you have more cover. No, come here.
Now, even before I started really studying this, I thought it implausible that one person could do this much damage, killing 60 people, wounding 423 others. Okay, so who exactly was Stephen Paddock? Well, Stephen Paddock, as I said, was an out-of-shape 64-year-old man. He had no military background and he had poor eyesight. He was living in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada, with his girlfriend named Mary Lou Danley. The two of them would often go to Peggy Sue's bar and diner in Mesquite, where they would have a few drinks and sing karaoke. Paddock's next-door neighbor, Donald Judy, says, quote, he was always normal.
There were 2 lazy boy recliners in the family room with, TV tables in front of it with laptops sitting on top of it, and then there was a TV. There was a bed in each of the bedrooms. I think there was one picture on the wall, but that was it.
Yeah.
Went to the Philippines quite frequently. That's where Mary Lou was from, he told us. First time we ever met him, he handed us the key to his house and said, hey, would you, keep an eye on the house. We're only going to be here, every now and then. He also was real nice. He says, hey, I've got a big shop vac. I got ladders. I got all kinds of tools.
New.
Anything you need, just, come on over and borrow it. So, but, yeah, he was, very friendly.
Paddock had no known political affiliation, no social media footprint whatsoever. He had no Facebook or Twitter accounts, and this actually fits the profile of a CIA spook, and we'll get into this thesis later in this video. Stephen Paddock was born in Clinton, Iowa in 1953. He was the oldest of 4 sons. Shortly after Stephen was born, the family moved to Tucson, Arizona, and interestingly, his father, Benjamin Paddock, was arrested for bank robbery in Arizona when Stephen was 7 years old. And Benjamin Paddock was convicted of bank robbery, and he was sentenced to prison. He then escaped from prison in 1969 and even appeared on the FBI's most wanted list. Some have theorized that Stephen Paddock was following in the footsteps of his father, wanting to become an even more notorious criminal. But according to Stephen Paddock's brother Eric, their father was, quote, never with my mom, and did not have any influence over our lives while we were growing up. After the father was arrested, Stephen's mom told the boys that their father had died in a car crash, and she kept his status as a bank robber a secret from the boys. So maybe the fact that their mom, Dolores, lied to the kids about what happened to the father, maybe that had some kind of an effect on Stephen. If so, he showed no indication of maladjustment. After the arrest of the father for bank robbery, the mom, Dolores, moved the boys, including Stephen, to Los Angeles, and Dolores worked as a secretary to support the boys. So Stephen and his brothers grew up in a low-income situation. According to one of Stephen Paddock's ex-wives, Paddock's upbringing in a low-income single-mom household caused him to prioritize becoming self-reliant and self-sustaining. But there was no evidence that Stephen was angry or maladjusted growing up. His brother Patrick described Stephen Paddock as, quote, the most boring one in the family. Also described Stephen Paddock as a math genius. Stephen Paddock's former brother-in-law, Scott Brunoller, described Stephen as a smart, fun-loving person who enjoyed entertaining on his boat. So Stephen was a low-key guy, a math genius, and fun-loving according to everyone who knew him. And police said he never had so much as a traffic ticket. That's how law-abiding he was. In fact, before the massacre, Stephen Paddock paid his taxes. Who pays their taxes right before they're going to commit a mass shooting and then suicide? Stephen Paddock attended Sun Valley High School in Los Angeles and John H. Francis Polytechnic High School, from where he graduated in 1971. He graduated from California State University, Northridge in 1977, earning a degree in business administration. Then he worked at the IRS from 1978 to 1984 as an auditor of defense contractors. He then worked as an auditor for a company called Defense Contract Audit Agency that then merged with Lockheed Martin. So Paddock was connected to the military-industrial complex. In other words, Paddock's background was deep state, given his work as an auditor of defense contractors for the IRS, and then his work at the Defense Contract Audit Agency that became part of Lockheed Martin. So this description strikes me as possible CIA. He's the ideal recruit for the CIA. A low-key personality, no public profile, no social media presence, no known political affiliations, who worked for the IRS as an auditor of defense contractors and then worked for a defense contractor. And then Paddock was not employed by anyone after the late 1980s. And living in the greater Los Angeles area, he made quite a lot of money in real estate. He owned personal properties in Panorama City, Cerritos, and North Hollywood from the 1970s to the early 2000s. He also owned 2 apartment buildings in Hawthorne, California. One of these apartment buildings generated an annual income for him of about $500,000, according to IRS records. He then sold this apartment building for a profit of about $6 million in 2015, according to IRS records. His net worth could have easily been north of $10 million. Certainly enough for a single guy to live on quite well. Plus, I believe he had his other apartment building that was generating income. Paddock was married and divorced twice. He had no children, but he remained on good terms with his ex-wives. And quite interestingly, Paddock wired his girlfriend, Mary Lou Delaney, $150,000 a few days before the shooting. She was in the Philippines at that time visiting her family. She said she had no knowledge of any plan by Paddock to shoot anyone, and that it would be completely out of character. She said that Paddock told her to buy a house with the $150,000 that he sent her, and she says she thinks this might have been Paddock's way of ending the relationship. She returned from the Philippines, met with police, and they interviewed her, and the police have cleared Mary Lou of any wrongdoing. Now, Paddock was an avid gambler. He was considered a high roller by the Vegas casinos, and he liked to play video poker. And he'd been a regular at Mandalay Bay for many years. In hotel management at Mandalay Bay, they knew Paddock well. They considered him to be a model guest, a zero-risk guest.
He was, in our estimation, the lowest risk type of individual.
No alarm bells going off.
And again, Paddock paid his taxes right before this massacre. What suicidal mass killer pays their taxes before they commit mass murder and suicide? Let's listen to this very interesting interview with Stephen Paddock's brother, Eric Paddock. This is on October 3rd, 2 days after the massacre.
How's your mom doing? She's okay. I mean, do you want that kind of background real quick about my mom? I mean, my mom was born in the Depression. She's had a tough life. Her husband was a total hole. He ran off, left her with 4 kids. She raised 4 kids on a secretary's salary in the 60s and 70s. We grew up poor on the side of the freeway in the San Fernando Valley in California. I don't want to go too much into this, but how we were formed. We're just people. My mom has had a tough life, and here's where it goes in, where it branches into Steve, the Steve that we knew. Steve made my mom wealthy. He helped make her retirement very comfortable. You know, he's the reason she's very, very comfortable right now. You don't make much money as a secretary in the 70s, raising 4 kids. Okay? Steve is the reason that she has substantial funds right now and is comfortable. That's the Steve I know. Okay? Now the other thing is someone said that Steve transferred $100,000. Woo, $100,000. I'm sorry if that hurts people or something. Once again, you need to understand. That's what people need to understand, the level where some people live. I guess everybody thinks that everybody works at Taco Bell or something. Everybody doesn't work at Taco Bell. There's wealthy people who do this. If you're going to condemn Steve for being a high-stakes gambler, the hotels are not going to be very happy with you.
But would that transfer indicate some sort of forethought, you think, maybe? Or was that, did he routinely send her money of the...
My mom? Or Mary Ann? Mary Lou? I'm sorry. Okay. Steve took care of the people he loved. He helped make me and my family wealthy. I mean, he's the reason I was able to retire 3 years ago when I got really burnt out doing the job I did. I mean, this is the Steve we know, we knew.
And this is what makes it so unbelievable that Stephen Paddock did this. He was very generous. He took care of the people he loved. Here Eric is asked if Stephen was a bit of a loner and a weirdo. Here's Eric's answer.
He was a private guy. That's why you can't find out anything about him. That's why there's no pictures. Is he such a weirdo because he didn't have a Facebook page and posted 50,000 damn pictures of himself every day? Who's weird?
Then a reporter basically asks Eric why he's defending his brother and not expressing more sadness for the victims.
Can you sympathize that people are maybe grasping for any sort of explanation?
Believe me, I sympathize with everybody who's grasping. Who on this planet do you think is grasping for this understanding more than me? Okay? I mean, once again, my heart goes out. My son called me today and he cried on the face. He's just crushed by this. And it has nothing to do with him. Nothing. But he's just totally crushed by this. And this is why I'm not a crying kind of guy. I'm an old school kind of guy. My wife stayed home and raised my kids. I went out and earned the money. This crying thing is not my normal gig.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Sort of stoical. I don't think I've cried about anything since I was a baby. I was raised not to cry about things. Let's hear more about who Stephen Paddock was.
Steve was a highly intelligent, highly successful person. He could have done anything he wanted to do. And he did. He made himself wealthy. He made us wealthy. He was a very successful person. He gambled for 20 plus years successfully. It's like a job to him. He did it mathematically. He did it because it was a way to have a fun life and he didn't go poor doing it. He had multiple houses.
What about that $150,000 that Stephen sent to his girlfriend, Mary Lou Delaney, who was visiting her family in the Philippines? And I've seen two numbers for this, $100,000 and $150,000. The most recent number seems to be $150,000 that Stephen sent Mary Lou in the Philippines.
But still no clue as to why he would do something
No
like this.
clue whatsoever. Here's the clue for the day. Someone says he transferred $100,000 to the Philippines. But she has a lot of relatives. I mean, they've been to the Philippines multiple times. I mean, she has relatives. She went there to visit her family, and he went there and surprised her by showing up there. He loved Mary. I mean, he loved/loves Mary Lou. Even if they broke up for some reason or something, we find out. And that I don't know. Would he have told me that? Maybe not. Okay, so, and people joked at me about that I didn't know whether Steve was married or not. Steve did anything he wanted to do whenever he wanted to do it. He was an independently wealthy, no ties attached guy. If he wanted to get on a plane and go to Japan and have sushi tomorrow, he did that. The $100,000 for Mary Lou, and it's what I sent back, I mean, I'll just try to say what I said before. That's the Steve I know. That's something that makes sense. I don't know what the situation is because maybe Steve wouldn't have told me if they broke up because that's just the kind of, and for Steve, breaking up is a fungible thing because he still knows and hangs out with occasionally and talks to and that kind of stuff, his previous relationship people.
So it sounds like Stephen Paddock cared a lot about Mary Lou Delaney. Stephen also seems to have gotten along very well with his two ex-wives, who seem to have nothing but positive things to say about Stephen Paddock. And reporters here ask if Stephen Paddock was a narcissistic manipulator.
Do you feel manipulated? Do you feel by Steve? Do you feel
Not in any way, shape, or form, because once again, the Steve I knew. Here, okay, Steve's manipulation. It was fun to hang out with Steve because he was a rich guy who hung out in the hotels. When I drove out to pick my son up to bring him back here, we came back through Vegas to see Steve because I want my kids occasionally to see their uncle, you know, but we live on different coasts of that. So when we're in the vicinity, we try to see him. With my son, we stopped. We ate in one of the best, in the Fusion restaurant. I highly recommend the Fusion restaurant. I can't think of the name, but the Fusion restaurant at the Wynn. We ate thousands of dollars of sushi. Thousands of dollars of sushi. So it was fun to be with Steve. If you were Steve's friend, he would spend money on you.
Eric, given what you know about your brother, what are the types of clues that you think will reveal why he did this?
There are no types of clues. That's the problem. I mean, he has no criminal record. He has nothing, no affiliations with anything.
Some theories about Paddock's motivation for the attack include that Paddock might have lost a lot of money at the casino, so was taking his anger out on Mandalay Bay. Or maybe he was angry about breaking up with Mary Lou Delaney, if that actually happened. And Sheriff Lombardo said at a press briefing that there's evidence that Paddock lost a lot of money at the casino. Here's what Eric has to say about that.
I mean, and even, so he lost $4 million, so Mary Lou broke up with him. That's not even, that wouldn't even do it for Steve, because he'd go on. We've had setbacks, and we're in the real estate business in LA, back when the bottom fell out of it. We almost lost all of our savings. We just went on. We keep going.
And Mary Lou theorized that the $150,000 or the $100,000 that he sent to her when she was in the Philippines visiting her family might have been Stephen Paddock's way of breaking up nicely with her. Eric says that this is just how Stephen was with people he cared about. Eric says Stephen made Eric rich, so it sure doesn't sound like anything could have triggered Stephen to have done anything like this. Stephen Paddock was extraordinarily generous with those he cared about. It makes absolutely no sense that he would gun down all of these innocent people who were just out for a nice night in Vegas, enjoying a country music festival. Nothing about this makes any sense at all, which is part of why I suspect he did not do this. And we'll get into some more reasons why I think this as we go. Okay, let's go back to the scene of the crime. Let's go through some of these videos and 911 calls and see if you think there were other shooters. For example, let's review the disturbance at Sundance Helicopter Tours at 10:23 p.m. This call comes in 7 minutes after the last shot was fired in Paddock's room, and police had not yet entered Paddock's room. Police haven't even arrived at Mandalay Bay yet, so police are not yet aware of anything happening at Sundance Helicopter. And this caller's girlfriend is a supervisor there.
911 emergency, Rodriguez 15978. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
I'm sorry. It's there's an active shooter at Sundance Helicopter.
Okay. Did you see the shooter?
I'm not there. My girlfriend works there. She's a supervisor. She texted me and said there's a shooter.
Yes, we're aware of that. Okay. Where's your girlfriend now?
To my knowledge, she's still there, but I was trying to get through to just like...
Yeah, we have thousands of calls coming in right now, so we are aware of the situation, okay? I mean, if she's able to contact us directly, that's a lot easier, okay? That way the information doesn't get convoluted.
So basically she's trying to call through, but...
Okay, yeah, so I'll go ahead and just connect with you, sir, okay? So I can go ahead and process more calls, okay? Thank you. Do not go to the strip. Thank you.
And this 911 call operator doesn't seem to care much, but the shooting at the concert had only been over for about 7 minutes. And I'm sure 911 calls are pouring in. So this 911 operator doesn't seem to know much yet. And this guy calls in a second time 47 minutes later at 11:10 p.m. And police have still not entered Paddock's room. This 911 operator seems a lot better.
911 emergency, Yates 15960. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Yes, hi. It's about the active shooter situation down on the strip.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so I need to report that Sundance Helicopters, my girlfriend works there. She called me. She's a supervisor there.
Yes.
They're all on lockdown currently in there.
Yes, where are they located?
They're at Sundance Helicopters. It's on South.
I know, but where are they located inside?
They're in the building. They've locked down the entire building. So
do you know how many subjects are in there?
There are several. I don't know what a head count, but there's several.
Okay, and she's a supervisor?
She's the supervisor, yes. I wanted to call and report that because I know I've been watching the news.
Yes, sir. Do you know if there's any victims where she's at?
To my knowledge, there's no victims.
And they're barricaded there?
Yeah, they went on lockdown. They have all the lights shut off, and they're all hiding in parts of the building. And I wanted to call because they're talking. I have my girlfriend on the other line, on my other phone, and I don't know, they're talking about like trying to like move, and I don't know if they should stay there locked down or if they
At this time, if they feel safe where they are, they need to stay where they are. And there's no one injured as far as you know?
As far as I know, there's no one injured. She didn't mention that anyone's injured. She just mentioned that she heard the gunshots and that they're on lockdown.
Okay, at this time, have them stay where they are if they feel safe to do so. I'm going to update and let officers know where they're located.
And here's a third 911 call about events at Sundance Helicopter. This caller, a female, reports that a woman has been shot in the leg at Sundance Helicopter.
Julie, what's your phone number? Did they say how many people are with them?
All of our operators.
He just said that there's a massive shooting. He's at the Sundance helicopter tours. They have a victim with a gunshot wound, need medical ASAP. She's in the hangar. I said, are you in trouble? Are you involved? Do you need me to call the police? He said, I'm pinned down inside, and she's in the hangar. I said, do you need me to call somebody? He said, yes, 10 fucking minutes ago. This is not a fucking joke.
All of our operators are currently busy. Please hold the line for the next available operator.
What's the address?
They're at the Sundance helicopter tours.
Is he injured?
He said he's pinned down, but there's a girl with a gunshot wound.
Okay, all right.
And here we have a report of gunshots and gunshot victims at Wynn Aviation.
Hi, it's Metro Police on a quarter line. Your phone down 911. Is there an emergency?
I'm with Wynn Aviation out at the in Metro at Quail Air Center, and we have a couple of gunshot wound victims here. I've already spoke to a Metro officer on the airfield, and they're currently working to get us an ambulance. It's Wynn Aviation.
Okay, you have victims. You have victims there?
Yes, there are. Currently, I believe there are 3 gunshot victims on Quail Air Center property in 2 separate locations.
Okay, and they're all on that property though?
Yeah, the 3 that I know. There's more than that. There's probably at least 100 or so people on the property here at Quail Air Center. I'm currently aware of 3, possibly 4 gunshot victims. 3 that I know of.
Are they breathing or anything like that?
No, they're not. Well, one gentleman, I didn't get a chance to look at his leg. He is across the ramp area. I did not get a chance to look at his leg, but, it's a gunshot wound. So.
Okay, let me get you over to medical, okay? One moment.
Okay.
And we're going to see why helicopters play a very interesting role here as we move through this video. Now let's find out what's happening at Oasis Apartments at 11:42 p.m., which is right here in relation to the concert venue.
911 emergency, Gramus 10177.
Hi, my name is Katie. I'm in Las Vegas. We're by an apartment complex across the street from Mandalay Bay, by where the shooting was. There's 2 people that look like suspects that were shooters that have just changed clothes that we can see by the window.
Okay, where are you at?
It's the Oasis apartment complex.
Okay, hold on one second, okay? I'm going to let them know, okay? We have multiple calls. Are they in a vehicle or on foot?
They're on foot. One is wearing a white shirt.
Where inside the I need to get someone there as soon as possible.
Listen to me. It's like it's not like a building complex. It's like little condos, okay? So it's like a little neighborhood type condo. So they are walking in between the buildings.
Okay, what kind of vehicle do they ride in?
They're not in a vehicle. They're on foot. We cannot see a vehicle from the window. We can only see them.
What do they look like? White, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
It's dark. It's hard to tell. Do they look white or black or Hispanic or Asian? You can't see, but they're trying to hide in like little hills. There's like a little green area. There's 2 people. They're trying to hide in the little hills.
Okay, hold on one second, okay?
Thank you.
Don't hang up with me, okay?
I'm not hanging up. I'm on the phone.
Now, generally speaking, I would think that people who are fleeing a mass shooting do not stop to change clothes. No, they run as fast as they can to try to get as far away from the mass shooting as possible. Only if you're one of the shooters do you stop and change clothes and then hide. Now, this Vegas cab driver caught on camera a second gunman on the 4th floor of Mandalay Bay.
It seems like it's coming from up there. Oh, all right, I'm out of here.
You can see that the sound matches the flashes of the gunfire. By the way, I'm getting a lot of these video clips from a great resource here called the Vegas Shooting Map, which you can find at LasVegasShootingMap.com. And you can spend hours, even days, with this shooting map, listening to the 911 calls and watching video clips that certainly tell me there was more than one shooter, probably many shooters. Mindy Robinson has also put together an excellent documentary on the Vegas shooting. I use a lot of her clips here, and I link to her documentary below. I encourage you to watch it. She does a great job. And what we learn from these 911 calls, as you'll soon see, and these video clips, is that shootings are moving north from the concert up the Las Vegas Strip. Here's what's happening at Tropicana, which is close to the concert venue.
Just reporting a shooting at the Tropicana Hotel.
At the Tropicana?
Yeah.
Yeah, is this Metro?
Yes, how can I help you?
Yeah, Metro, this is a reference to your active shooter. I have my niece who states that there's an active shooter now inside the Tropicana. I just got off the phone with her like 2 minutes ago. She said she's okay. And then her mom just texted me and said, now there's an active shooter in the Tropicana. I have no further info or description for you.
That's okay. What is your name?
Her daughter, MJ, and her boyfriend and parents are on scene. They were at the actual concert when they took cover, and then they escaped over Tropicana. She said she was okay. And then like 2 minutes after that, I got a text saying that there's an active shooter now in the Tropicana. They're running for their life.
What is MJ's phone number?
Lots of shell casings are found at the Tropicana.
I saw casings right here. And there were maybe a dozen
Really?
brass 1.5-inch, 2-inch tubes spread out.
As if someone was shooting right here.
Yeah, they were spread out.
I walked over by the Tropicana. I found bullets. There was still some on the ground. But in the parking lot. Well, at the Tropicana parking lot. Part of the parking lot. Right where they made their triage, right almost by the door. All the door.
And here are police with their body cam saying there are shots at Tropicana.
There's an active shooter, possibly not confirmed, terrorist related. 3 shooters so far.
We're getting reports of shots fired at New York, shots fired at Tropicana.
Fire and medical, what is the address of the emergency?
Hi, Medical, it's Metro. This is probably all backwards because I just got here. I had someone call in advising that they had people in the Tropicana in the basement at exit 12 with people trying to get in claiming that they were injured. Do you know anything about it or no?
Well, the only thing that we have on here is 2 active shooters at the roof of the Tropicana.
Okay.
And
all
then
right.
new staging location at Reno and Tropicana. That's the information that we have there.
Okay. Reno and Trop, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
So I sat down at a slot machine inside of Planet Hollywood. Now I hear gunfire over the sound of the casino. More gunfire, much closer. I would estimate it had to be within a half block. People are starting to pour in. So I go to the cashier, he looks at the timestamp, whatever, and so he asked me, were you here with all that went down last night? I said, yeah. He said, what happened? And so I told him briefly. He looks at the cashier next to him, and he said, I told you. So she looks back at him and says, well, why are they telling you guys not to say so? He was like, I don't know, I didn't say so, she did, pointing at me. So from that, I gathered that the employees that were even there at the time were threatened to keep their damn mouths shut. Period. A whole lot of stuff went down. And almost none of it is being reported on mainstream news. Almost none of it.
So we have shell casings outside Tropicana and an active shooter inside Tropicana. We also have an active shooter at the Excalibur. This comes in at 11:23 p.m., 3 minutes after police enter Paddock's room and find him dead. And Excalibur is near Mandalay Bay.
I heard it.
911 emergency, Holland 16085. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Not sure, probably police.
Okay, to what address?
I'm at the Excalibur Hotel, and I am up on the roof,
Okay.
right above the food court.
Uh-huh.
And we were at the concert, we heard a shotgun, and everybody ran.
Uh-huh.
And so we're just kind of hiding out on the roof.
All right, and
right
what's your first and last name, sir?
My first name is Rob.
Uh-huh.
Last name,
And you're on top of the Excalibur, correct?
well, we're on top of the Excalibur. There's a roof right above the food court, which It had to be about 3 to 5 minutes ago. We heard a gunshot and everyone ran, and we ran up the stairs.
And there's only 2 of you guys?
Yes, but I can confirm, without a doubt, I heard a gunshot and people running before we
Sir,
came up there.
we have an active shooter situation. I need you guys to stay on.
At the Excalibur, for sure.
At the Excalibur, you heard gunshots too?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
And then I saw people running, and then we just ran for the exit.
At the New York casino, 2 girls report seeing 2 bodies in the Zumanity Theater there.
546, do you need police, fire, or medical?
New York.
Okay.
We don't know if it's safe to leave. We saw bodies on the floor.
Bodies on the floor. Okay, where, ma'am?
We're in the
25.
Zumanity Theater.
The Mandalay Bay Theater?
No, the New York Theater, Zumanity.
Okay. Zumanity, and how many people did you see down?
Nicole, how many people did you see? Nicole, how many people did you see? For sure 2 people down.
And at the MGM, we have here a terrified girl and a man who say that there are multiple shooters at the MGM.
911 emergency, Holland 16085. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
No. You're what?
There's a shooter. This is a shooter.
Okay, where are you, ma'am? At the MGM. Okay.
There's more than one shooter. They're only reporting one. There's more than one shooter.
Okay.
I want you to know there's more than one.
Okay. Did you see who was shooting?
No, but there's more than one.
How many?
There's like multiple.
Hello?
There's multiple.
How many? Like 3, 4, 5, 6. How many?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Hi.
We heard multiple shooters.
Okay. How many shooters? Like
at least 2.
At least 2. Okay.
We also get multiple reports of shooting at Planet Hollywood.
911 emergency, Winfield 15966. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police, there is an active shooter inside of Miracle Mile Shops.
Okay, where are you at?
I just left right now. I'm inside the parking lot.
And you heard shooting in the Miracle Mile?
There's a lot of people running saying that there was a shooter inside, and it was confirmed by security.
In the Miracle Mile Shops?
Yes, Miracle Mile Shops at Planet Hollywood.
911 emergency laws 10183. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
No, I don't. I'm just reporting that I just received a phone call from the waiters and the girls and the blondies at Planet Hollywood. They're hiding people in the kitchen, and they're hiding also, and they're saying that they were shot at. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, well, we got plenty of calls. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye. No.
Yes, this is Planet Hollywood. There is police here. There is shooting in the casino.
Okay, where are you?
There is shooting in the casino.
What casino are you in?
Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood? Okay. You're in a safe place?
I don't know where I was.
You're in the closet. Okay. Stay safe. Keep yourself sheltered in place, okay?
This is fucking crazy. There's a shooter in front of Hollywood.
And I know damn well I heard a gunshot inside this building.
We thought so too. Yeah, and then it never got covered.
How can that be?
No one ever talked about it.
Did you hear it?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
How many did you hear? I heard 2.
Yeah, I know. And then we saw people running. Yeah.
Again, moving north along the strip, away from Mandalay Bay. Planet Hollywood, I'd guess, is about a mile from Mandalay Bay. And this man at the Cosmopolitan, he reports hearing shots at Caesar's Palace, New York, and Paris casinos.
Yes, hi. I'm staying at the Cosmopolitan. I'm standing on my balcony, and I am in Las Vegas, right across from the Aerie sign. And there is somebody going batshit crazy with a gun on the bridge right across from the Aerie sign.
Do you know the description of the male?
I can't see that far down. People are literally hitting the concrete.
Yeah. We do have an active shooter, so we just stay shelter in place.
I know, that's the reason why I call. That's why people run into the shooter sign is.
If you see anybody suspicious inside the hallways or hear anything in your room, you give us a call back on 911, okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you so much.
At the bridge, right across from there. All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
At 11:23, we have reports of a man getting out of a white pickup truck with a rifle at the Bellagio.
A man with a rifle just going in the Bellagio employee entrance.
You said there's a man with a rifle going into the Bellagio employee?
He came out of a white truck and went the entrance.
Okay, ma'am. Where are you at currently? Where are you at inside the Bellagio?
I'm in the employee entrance on the bottom, all the way at the end.
Okay, and are you sheltering in place with your fellow coworkers?
Yes, everyone's here.
Okay.
There's a bunch of people down here.
Okay. All right, go ahead and shelter in place. Stay right where you are. Try and silence your phone.
Okay. Please hurry, please hurry, please hurry, please hurry.
They're on their way, okay? I promise.
And all kinds of reports of shootings at the Bellagio pour in.
911 emergency, how may I help you?
Listen, my wife and I are hiding in a it looks like a service lounge in the Bellagio, Bellagio hotel.
Okay, where exactly are you in there?
Oh, we're in an employee lounge in the Bellagio.
Okay, so an employee lounge, is that to the front, the back? Do you know where on the property is that?
We're in the basement because we're apparently not too far from the ballroom.
Okay, nobody's injured?
No, we're not injured.
Do you stay where you are and shelter in place until everybody knows that everything's okay?
No, we heard shots.
How long ago did you hear shots?
Probably half an hour ago, Tina. It was 11:30.
Okay, and did you see the suspect?
No, we didn't.
How many shots did you hear?
4 or 5.
3 to 5?
No, 4 to 5.
4 to 5 shots?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'll let them know, but you stay where you are until we know that everything's okay out there, okay?
Here's body cam footage that gives a pretty clear picture of what's going on.
We are not... Oh, shit.
Shots being fired. Units, we're getting a 415A now, Bellagio PER is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
When they breached, they said one SWAT shot him.
Units, we're getting A now, Bellagio PER is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
That's a shot. That's a shot.
What was that? Oh, right here! Go! Oh shit, that's machine gun.
Units, we're getting a 415A now, Bellagio PER is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
Is that what it was? Right here! Go! Oh shit, that's machine gun. That's machine gun fire.
Units, we're getting a 415A now, Bellagio PER is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
This is 2 miles away from Mandalay Bay. We also have reports of a shooter in the Mirage, which is right next door to the Bellagio. Might be the same shooter. Here's what Abigail says.
Are you at the Bellagio?
The Mirage.
The Mirage? Do you know where inside the Mirage you are?
South Park. 7th level.
You're in the south parking?
Yes.
Are you able to see like what level? Like does it say like 3B or anything like that on the post? 7?
Yes.
Does it say a letter as well?
What?
Does it show you a letter as well, or just 7?
No. I'm sitting forward by the park by the elevator.
Okay. How many people are with you?
3.
Is anybody injured?
I don't know. Please hear me out.
We have 7th floor self parking, and you're near a white Nissan Rogue.
Can you please come?
We're gonna get somebody to you as soon as you can. Okay? Do you hear or see anything?
Yeah, I hear something.
What do you hear?
A car.
Are you guys sitting on the floor? What are you guys doing?
I'm on the floor. One's on the front, one's on the back.
You're laying down?
No, I'm like sitting down.
What are the other people doing? Are they sitting as well?
They're laying. I can't feel my feet.
Okay. Okay, we have your call, okay? If anything suspicious happens, give us a call back. We have your location.
She sure sounds scared. Does it sound like she's lying to you? And here's another report of what's happening at the Mirage. This is from a man who says he and more than 100 people have run to an RV park near the hotel after hearing shots inside the Mirage.
Shots fired at Mirage Hotel.
At the Mirage? Okay. All right, sir, we do have that. Are you injured?
No.
Okay, do you see a suspect?
We're evacuating the hotel.
Okay, do you see a suspect, sir?
Coming. No, we're all outside in the back of the hotel.
Was anyone injured? Do you know of anyone that was injured?
No, we're all outside.
Okay, and how many shots did you hear?
We don't know. People started running, screaming.
Okay, and they were coming from inside the hotel?
We're outside by the RV center, by the RV park.
Are you guys able to get into a safe place and shelter in place?
We don't know where the safe place is, ma'am. We're going to break into some of these RVs.
Okay, sir, don't do any crimes. Don't commit any crimes.
Okay, we're all outside.
Okay, are you able to stay in one spot where you feel safe, sir? Okay, where are you going to be hiding, sir? Sir, we have an active shooter on the strip, and we're gonna get officers out there. Where are you?
Where the RV's parked. There's some street. I don't know what the street is though. It's north of the Mirage.
Okay, and how many people are sheltering in place with you?
People are running out of the hotel like crazy.
Okay, you're at the RV park?
Yes. Okay, between Treasure Island and Mirage.
Okay, and you have 100 people with you?
Yes.
More
than that.
And again, the Mirage and the Bellagio, these hotels are 2 miles away from Mandalay Bay, nowhere near Mandalay Bay. And here's what's happening at Caesar's Palace, which is also right next door to the Mirage.
To what address?
Caesar's Palace.
Okay.
And we need notification. We thought there was an active shooter in the main space, but we have not yet been notified if it's safe, and we are currently holed up in the hotel.
Where are you?
Chester. We're on the top floor.
Did you see anything or hear anything?
We heard a big bang, and then everybody started running. Like, is there any way that the police who are already on the strip, like, if they've cleared the Caesar's Palace, anybody who's come in to clear it, can they come up to the floors and start telling people? Because right now we have no confirmation of anything.
There's a lot going on right now. We're trying to... Are you in the forum shop? You're actually in the hotel.
We're in the hotel itself.
Okay. How many bangs did you hear?
How many bangs? I only heard one.
Okay. Did you see anybody?
No, I just saw the crowd of people running and I ran with them.
How many people are inside the room with you?
3. It's me, including 2 other people.
Please be advised, now we're getting shots fired at Caesar's and Bellagio. Caesar's and Bellagio. 413 out of Paris.
Paris?
Yeah.
I was just calling to let you guys know that I have a third-party report from a mom in Connecticut. Her son is at the Omnia nightclub in Little Caesars.
In Caesars? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Oh my gosh. Omnia. Do we have anything happening at Omnia? Do we have things happening everywhere else? Right. Yeah, in front of Omnia, I guess there's a couple employees locked in the VIP room, and they're actively hearing gunshots right now.
In front of, they're hearing them from in front of Omnia?
Yeah, in front of Omnia and Caesar's Palace.
So all this shooting is happening in this same area: Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, and the Mirage. And employees at Caesar's Palace have locked themselves in the VIP room, and they hear gunshots being fired right now inside the hotel. This is at 11:43 p.m., long after Paddock is dead. But the official story is that all these reports of shootings in hotels up and down the strip are just echoes of Paddock's gunfire.
The echo of gunfire through the strip leads to mistaken reports of shooters in multiple hotels.
How can this be echoes of Paddock's gunfire if these shootings are happening a half hour and more after Paddock is dead? And we have shell casings, a lot of them, at the Tropicana.
I saw casings right here.
As if someone was shooting right here.
Yeah, they were spread out.
These can't be Stephen Paddock's shell casings. Meanwhile, at 11:47 p.m., a report comes in that gunshots have been fired in the back parking lot of the Flamingo, and shell casings are found there.
5, do you need police, fire, or medical?
Hey, yes, we need police. Mark, this is Flamingo. We just got a call right now saying shots fired in the back parking lot, employee parking lot area.
Okay, the Flamingo Hotel?
Yeah, Flamingo Hotel.
Okay. One moment, sir. Do we know if anyone's injured?
So far, we don't know if anybody's injured, but I'm looking on the camera and I'm seeing people run towards it.
Garage.
Yes, we're on the phone with Metro right now.
Stay on the phone with me. Don't hang up, please. One moment, sir.
No, I'm not.
Got a 434 at the Flamingo.
And a discarded gun is found near the valet.
Do we know if anyone's injured or not, or no?
No, nobody. We don't have any worries yet if anybody's injured. And also, just so you know, so it was a gun found also near the valet entrance.
Oh, near the valet entrance. Excellent.
Let's go back to Paddock's room. Paddock's suite on the 32nd floor contained 24 guns and more than 1,400 rounds of ammo, according to the police. He had an arsenal up there. However, he was relying on bump stocks to convert semi-automatic weapons to automatic weapons. But the problem is that bump stocks are notorious for jamming. I'm certainly no gun expert, but my understanding is that a bump stock relies on the recoil energy of each shot to quickly reload the next bullet into the chamber to create a quasi-automatic rifle effect, kind of a clunky automatic rifle. Not nearly as good as a true automatic rifle, which is illegal in the United States. And bump stocks constantly jam. And gun experts tell me that there's no way semi-automatic rifles with bump stocks could produce sustained automatic gunfire over such a long time without jamming. And I welcome any fact check on this in the comments. In fact, please feel free to fact check this entire video. Another oddity, only about half the rifles in Paddock's room had sights. Paddock was rich. Had he wanted to kill all these people from the 32nd floor, he certainly could have afforded to equip all of his rifles with the best sights. And he certainly could have found a way to obtain true automatic weapons, not makeshift automatic weapons with bump stocks. Now, some have suggested that Stephen Paddock might have been a weapons dealer. And here's some evidence that he was. On July 6, 2017, Paddock emailed an unidentified recipient of the email saying, quote, "Try an AR before you buy. We have a huge selection located in the Las Vegas area," end quote. So questions here are, who is we? And who is behind the second email account? So that would explain why half of Paddock's guns were not equipped with sights. His reason for having all these weapons in his suite might have been that he had a gun sale scheduled, his own private gun show. Now, the fake news has made a big deal that police found a stockpile of so-called exploding targets in his car. But these devices are used for target practice, often used by law enforcement for training purposes. When you hit an exploding target, it makes a small explosion. The purpose of the exploding target is to let you know that you hit your target from long range. And plus, these exploding targets make target practice more fun. Exploding targets are not used to kill people. So the presence of exploding targets in Paddock's car is more evidence to me that Paddock was there to sell weapons to gun enthusiasts. For all these reasons, I've always suspected that Stephen Paddock was not there to kill anyone. But what do I know? I'm just an English lit major, an advertising guy who puts up occasional videos on YouTube on topics that interest me. Now, the official narrative is that Stephen Paddock acted alone, and police and the FBI have come up with no motive. Quite interestingly and suspiciously, Stephen Paddock's hard drive on his computer went missing, has never been found. How could the hard drive of his computer go missing if the suite to his room was bolted shut from the inside? Do computer hard drives just get up and walk away through doors that are bolted shut from the inside? We're told that Paddock must have removed his hard drive earlier. Another oddity. We're told that Paddock acted alone, but 3 women were also registered to Paddock's suite.
And he's registered there with 3 other females.
All we know about these women, these 3 women, is their first names: Joanna, Lori, and Katie. Everything else about these women has been redacted from the records that have been released. Why the secrecy? And the fact that these 3 women were registered to Paddock's room, were apparently staying there, was not admitted to the public until 1 month after the massacre. Who were these women? If they were completely innocent of wrongdoing, why aren't they making millions of dollars writing books about this, making movies about this? And why absolutely no interest in these 3 women from the legacy news media, which of course is government-controlled media? In fact, what was shocking was how quickly the news media lost interest in the Las Vegas massacre. This was the deadliest mass shooting on American soil since Wounded Knee. Now, usually the propaganda news media uses every mass shooting event to go on and on about the need for gun control and gun bans and why we need to get rid of the Second Amendment. And for a few days, they did use this event to engage in some anti-Second Amendment propaganda, but they moved on very quickly from the story. Why so little interest in the Las Vegas massacre by the fake news? And in fact, social media platforms quickly swung into action to take down videos and posts that questioned the official narrative, that Stephen Paddock acted alone, and that he had no motive. No more questions will be tolerated. Now move along, everyone. And maybe this video will be taken down or suppressed. Or maybe not, because quite a bit of time has passed. And now that Donald Trump is president, it seems that social media has suddenly become a bit more tolerant of facts that call into question the official government story, the official propaganda line. Now, I'm not saying I know the truth here. I have theories, which I'll get into in a bit. But what I think I know with pretty near 100% certainty is that the official story is not true, is not close to true. For one thing, just about everybody in the crowd that night, and in Las Vegas, believed that there were multiple shooters, that multiple shooters were firing at the crowd from many different angles. Now the police say these are echoes. Really?
The echo of gunfire through the Strip leads to mistaken reports of shooters in multiple hotels.
We are not. Oh shit.
Right now, Bellagio, PDR, hearing a lot of shots being fired. Units, we're getting a 415A now, Bellagio, PDR, is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
When they breached, they said one SWAT shot him.
Units, we're getting A now, Bellagio, PDR, is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
That's a shot. That's a shot.
What was that? Oh, right here. Go. Oh shit, that's machine gun.
Units, we're getting a 415A now, Bellagio, PDR, is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
Is that what it was? Right here. Go. Oh shit, that's machine gun. That's machine gun fire.
Units, we're getting a 415A now, Bellagio, PDR, is hearing a lot of shots being fired.
Lombardo says that reports on social media that there were multiple shooters have been proven false.
This is an ongoing investigation, but we are comfortable that the primary aggressor in this event has expired or passed away and is no longer a threat. There's been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false.
The echo of gunfire through the Strip leads to mistaken reports of shooters in multiple hotels.
You decide if these are echoes. Now let's talk about the helicopters. Now remember 4 911 calls about shots being fired at Sundance helicopter tours and people hiding from a gunman or gunmen. Also shots fired at Wynn Aviation.
There's an active shooter on the airport. This is a blanket broadcast for all aircraft. Just a heads up.
I'm sorry. It's there's an active shooter at Sundance Helicopter.
Okay, did you see the shooter?
I'm not there. My girlfriend works there. She's a supervisor. She texted me and said there's a shooter.
Yes, we're aware of that.
He just said that there's a massive shooting. He's at the Sundance helicopter tours.
Well, many people at the scene of the concert believed they were being shot at by helicopters. And there were not supposed to be any helicopters over the venue at that time. But witnesses saw at least 3 helicopters. And many believed that automatic gunfire was coming from these helicopters. The first police helicopter arrives at 10:24 p.m., 9 minutes after the shooting in Paddock's room had stopped. Paddock, remember, committed suicide, supposedly, at 10:17 p.m. or 10:16 p.m. So what were these 3 other helicopters that people saw just before the shooting began and while the shooting was going on at the concert? And gunfire seemed to be coming from these helicopters, according to concert goers.
I almost felt like there was a helicopter above us shooting. It was so bizarre, like a war sound.
But it flew low enough that I could see that there was a black curtain, the door was open, and the color of the instrument panel. It flew right over our heads. As soon as it got in front of Mandalay Bay, it kind of rose up in altitude, and that's when we heard the gunshots. I turned to my left immediately, looked up at the helicopter, and was just like, what the hell? That was automatic gunfire. I'm thinking to myself, my girlfriend responds to me. She goes, babe, did you hear that helicopter? And I go, what about that helicopter? She says, it sounded funny. And I go, what do you mean it sounded funny? She goes, it just sounded weird. I go, that wasn't the helicopter. That was automatic gunfire. And then as we're talking about it, I turn my head to my left again, and I look at the helicopter, and I see it circle around Mandalay Bay towards the back end of it, and there's no gunshots. As soon as it comes back to the front of Mandalay Bay, you hear the brrr again, and then it flies off again.
Tell what that night, but for some reason, I just knew it was coming out of that helicopter. But I was so unbelievably certain that it was coming from the helicopter.
Yes, we have all kinds of help on the way, okay? Everything's going to be okay. We're getting officers out there. Okay?
You guys gonna need officers on the sky because he's flying in a helicopter.
You think he's in a helicopter?
Yes.
And this footage was provided by John Cullen.
There's no way that's a gun. There's no way that's a
There also appears to be muzzle flashes coming from the sky on both sides of the Mandalay Bay, precisely where flight radar places 3 helicopters that turned off their transponders minutes before the shooting began, while hovering in position overlooking the Route 91 Harvest Festival.
He's flying in a helicopter.
You think he's in a helicopter?
Yes.
Not a doubt in my mind that there was shooting coming from the helicopter.
Now let's take a look at why it's significant that radar shows no helicopters flying in the area at the time of the shooting, even though concert goers saw at least 3 helicopters flying overhead at the time of the shooting. Here's what Flight Radar 24 has to say. And this is a service that monitors all flight traffic worldwide. Anyone can subscribe to it. You can pull up flight traffic in any city for any day and just look at it. It tracks planes, helicopters, any aircraft that are required by the FAA to have a radar transponder. Exceptions, of course, would be Air Force One and military flights that don't want to be tracked. But if you're an aircraft in an urban area or in a busy airspace area, you're required to have a transponder so that you can be tracked by air traffic control. This includes helicopters. And you're supposed to have an approved flight plan. So let's look at the radar traffic. You see planes coming and going from Las Vegas McCarran Airport here. And what you will see here is 3 helicopters heading to the Mandalay Bay area minutes before the shooting. And before they get there, they turn off their transponders. They disappear from the radar. This is not me saying this. Many people who are a lot more knowledgeable than I am are looking at this.
And they're going to stop directly behind the Mandalay Bay. So this first one hovers right there, right over Mandalay Bay, right over the event center, kind of oval-shaped roof. Here comes the third and the fourth. Notice that first helicopter, what happened is it turned off its transponder. These other 2 are about to do the same, and they turn off their transponders as well. And they remain there, no transponder signals come back on for the duration of the shooting. So they turned off their transponders at about 9:52, and no more transponders will appear in that area. But what's interesting is that even though We have no radar data showing flights in that area. Video evidence clearly shows flights being in that area during the shooting. I want you to notice as we watch this clip the flashes coming from behind and in between Mandalay Bay and Delano Towers. There's no aircraft in the air at this time according to flight data, but we see lights flashing in there, which have to come from aircraft because there's no other buildings tall enough for them to be coming from this perspective. The flashes are inconsistent. They're not normal, consistent flashes like you would see from beacons or anti-collision lights. So it's possible these flashes are coming from a muzzle. And they magically appear back on radar just after the shooting stopped at 10:16. Another interesting thing that I noticed was that the last helicopter in the original group of 3, call sign N848MH, actually turns its transponder on, pops up right there. It just popped up, perhaps left the shooting scene and joined that group formation and turned its transponder on right when it got into that group formation.
And then we have those reports of gunfire and people pinned down and hiding at Sundance Helicopter.
He just said that there's a massive shooting. He's at the Sundance Helicopter Tours. They have a victim with a gunshot wound, needs medical ASAP. She's in the hangar. It's not a fucking joke.
All of our operators are currently busy.
And we have a report of gunfire at Wynn Aviation.
Hi, it's Metro Police on a quarter line. Your phone down 911. Is there an emergency?
I'm with Wynn Aviation out at in Metro at Quail Air Center, and we have a couple of gunshot wound victims here. I've already spoke to a Metro officer on the airfield, and they're currently working to get us an ambulance. I'm currently aware of 3, possibly 4 gunshot victims. 3 that I know of.
Are they breathing or anything like that?
No, they're not. Well, one gentleman, I didn't get a chance to look at his leg. He is across the ramp area.
Is this definitive proof that people were being shot from helicopters? Nope. All we know is that many concert goers believe that they were being shot at from helicopters. Again, just a reminder, the official story is that Paddock was a lone shooter. He acted alone and that no motive can be discerned. And you should just accept that. Case closed. No more questions permitted. Also, just consider this video to be parody, satire, entertainment. Just wild musings by a borderline senile 67-year-old YouTuber. Okay, let's talk now about Stephen Paddock's room. Let's take a look at what the police tell us they found when they entered Paddock's room. Here's a photo we were provided of the dead body. I'm going to blur out Paddock's face here, or this video is going to be suppressed by YouTube for its gruesomeness. And you can look up these crime scene photos on the internet. What looks striking to you about this photo? Well, what strikes me is that there is very little blood on the carpet. We're told that Paddock committed suicide at 10:16 p.m. or 10:17 p.m., shot himself in the head. Gunshot wounds to the head produce a lot of blood. We should see a lot of blood here on the carpet around Paddock's head. There's very little blood, and the blood looks dry. Police breached Paddock's room supposedly with an explosive charge at 11:20 p.m. Would his blood be dry on the carpet by this point? 1 hour and 4 minutes after he supposedly shot himself in the head? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a forensics expert, but this looks pretty suspicious to me. Might be that Paddock was shot somewhere else and was moved here after he was shot. The fact that it took 1 hour and 15 minutes for the police to get into Paddock's room after the shooting started, and 1 hour and 4 minutes after the shooting concluded, means that there was plenty of time for the real shooters to get away, if there were other shooters in the room, which is what it looks like to me. But what do I know? I'm just an English lit major. But let's take a look at the police body cam footage of their entrance into Paddock's room. And by the way, it took more than a year of lawsuits by the families of the victims to get this body cam footage released. Why is that? We, the taxpayers, are paying for police body cams so we can see what the police see, so that we can see what the police are doing, so that we can have confidence in the police. So what are they hiding? Why were they reluctant to release body cam footage? Why did it require lawsuit after lawsuit to get this body cam footage? And suspiciously, the police are ordered to turn off their body cams.
Yeah, my camera's on. My camera's on too. Yeah, turn them off. Turn them off. Yeah, my camera's on too.
Why is that? Normally, police are required to keep their body cams on. But here the police are told to turn their body cams off. But fortunately, one police officer, the canine officer, ignored orders and kept his body cam on anyway. So we're able to see some things.
Do not have a broken window. Well, no, there's several rooms here, please.
Wait, what?
Do not have a broken window. Well, no, there's several rooms here, please. You remember window.
So the police can't find the broken window in Paddock's room?
Do not have a broken window. Well, no, there's several rooms here, please. You remember window. Right where that curtain is, right by the door.
What was that loud bang?
Okay, stand by. We've got curtains open on a window that's not broken. It's us. Corey, it's us. Don't it's us. We have to go ahead. I'm up here.
So window, not broken. Let's review. Window, definitely not broken. Curtain closed. This is where the broken window is supposed to be. Also, where are all the shell casings? Now, the official crime scene photos released by police of Paddock's body shows shell casings all over the floor. But this room the police find looks pretty clean. And what about the two giant broken windows? BBC News footage does show one window broken, but not two windows broken at that time. Later, we do see two windows broken. But so far, no one's been able to come up with photos or video of two broken windows before police breached Paddock's room at 11:20. The two windows are seen broken after about 11:40 p.m. But where are these two big, gaping, broken windows at the time of the shooting, before police entered Paddock's room? If someone can show me two massively broken windows at the time of the shooting and before police breached Paddock's room, I'll cut this section out of the video. And suspiciously, police helicopter footage of the building and these windows prior to when police breached Paddock's room was censored. Why? Well, I suspect because there was only one broken window, not two broken windows. And we do see video footage from concert goers of gunfire coming from one window, but not a second window, at least as far as I can tell. I can find no video of gunfire coming from the second window. Now, this is kind of a small point. It doesn't really affect my overall thesis. It doesn't really matter if there was two broken windows or one broken window, just that only one broken window would contradict the official story. And why would they go to so much trouble to cover up this detail? Just say they were wrong or tell the truth to begin with. Okay, so police are in the room. There don't seem to be a lot of shell casings all over the floor the way shown in the official crime scene photos. An official crime scene photo shows this hammer with broken glass and lots of shell casings. So I guess we're supposed to think that Paddock broke out these two windows with this hammer and was sprinting back and forth between the two hotel rooms, firing from these two windows. But what sense does it make for him to be doing that, running back and forth like a madman between these two rooms and these two windows?
Do not have a broken window. Well, no, there's several rooms here, please. Right where that curtain is, right by the door. Okay, stand by. We've got curtains open on a window that's not broken. It's us. Corey, it's us. No, it's us. We have to go ahead. I'm up here.
Here's something else that's interesting. Right during the time when the police were in the room at 11:32 p.m., a 911 call comes in from a man on the 21st floor below Paddock's room. And this man reports hearing a loud explosion above him, followed by the sound of glass falling outside the window of his room.
911 emergency, Brown 15968. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Oh, just got a question here. So I just checked into Mandalay Bay, and I'm on the 21st floor, and I'm not sure if I should be trying to leave the hotel or stay in my hotel.
No, please do not go anywhere, okay? Please stay there and do not go anywhere. It is not safe for you.
Okay, and I just heard what sounded like a explosion above me, and then glass coming down around me, or right outside the window. So I don't know have you guys heard anything about explosions?
Yes, it's
okay.
the whole strip right now, okay? So I need you to just stay put, okay? If you start hearing smelling smoke or anything like that, then yes, please get out of harm's way. However, please be careful and do not go downstairs if you don't have a reason to.
Okay, but you don't know of any fire in the Mandalay Bay right now, right?
Not as this right now. Right now we're trying to control all of the shooting, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
And it should be noted that Paddock's room was not actually breached by SWAT, which is the official narrative. We're told that SWAT stormed the room. And CNN even tells us that Paddock tried to escape the room through the police officers and shot one of the police officers before the SWAT team shot Paddock. CNN describes this violent scene with heroic police saving the day and gunning down this madman. I guess that's why we call CNN fake news.
It was initially reported that perhaps he had taken his own life at the very moment the SWAT team was making entry into his room on the 32nd floor. Now they've clarified that point. They say that as the SWAT officers actually broke in the door, that the gunman charged them, made it through the door, struggled with the officers, and was able to get off at least one shot, wounding one SWAT officer in the leg.
There is literally nothing that the news media says that can be believed on any topic. Also, we're told that this was a SWAT team that entered Paddock's room, and that the reason that it took the police so long, an hour and 15 minutes after the shooting started, for police to arrive, is that they were waiting for SWAT. But it turns out there was only one SWAT officer at the room at the time of the break-in. The rest were just regular old Las Vegas Metro Police. And here they are.
Want some Pringles? One suspect down at Trop, it sounds like.
These guys make the Keystone Cops look professional.
The Pringles? One suspect down at Trop, it sounds like.
And here the cop drinking the booze says there's a suspect down at Tropicana. Yeah, that's pretty much what everybody's saying. And let's not forget all those shell casings found at Tropicana Hotel.
In the parking lot. Where? At the Tropicana parking lot. Part of the parking lot. Right where they made their triage, right almost by the door.
So yeah, there seems to be a lot going on at Tropicana. We're also told that the reason it took so long for the police to break into Paddock's room is it was locked by this L bracket. Seriously? I'm quite sure my wife Wanda could very easily kick her way through this L bracket. And let's not forget the shooting had stopped for an hour.
Investigation and response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead.
And suspiciously, all police officers on the scene were required to sign non-disclosure agreements, prohibiting them from talking about what they saw that night. Why would police be barred from talking about what they saw if everything we're being told is on the up and up? This is why the American people have become so suspicious of our governing institutions. Our governing institutions are always lying. Remember when Joe Biden's director of the Centers for Disease Control, Rochelle Walensky, proclaimed that vaccinated people do not carry the COVID virus? She actually told us this.
Data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real-world data.
And her emails on January 30, 2021 prove that this Walensky woman, knew that this was a lie at the time she said it. As a result of all these lies, endless lies from the government like this, the American people just stopped believing the government, stopped believing the propaganda news. Now let's take a look at what we know about Stephen Paddock's day, before the shooting would start at 10:05 p.m. Here we see Paddock playing video poker, his usual game of choice. He plays video poker from 3:24 a.m. to 7:36 a.m. in the main casino there at Mandalay Bay. Looks very relaxed here. If you were about to kill 60 people in a few hours and wound 423 more, would you be looking this relaxed and nonchalant? Doesn't look like he has a care in the world here. Just doing what he always does when he comes to Vegas, plays video poker. He then returns to his suite a bit after 7:36 a.m., presumably to sleep. And remember, Paddock has two adjoining rooms, room 134 and room 135 on the 32nd floor. At 12:03 p.m. on October 1st, the day of the shooting, doors to both of Paddock's rooms open from the inside at exactly the same time. This means there had to be at least 2 people in Paddock's room in his suite at that time. And we know that there were 3 women also registered to Paddock's room, listed as Joanna, Lori, and Katie. And we haven't been given their last names. The hotel's locks are electronic. Door openings and closings are tracked by the hotel. So we know that the doors of the 2 rooms opened simultaneously to the outside, from the inside to the outside. And we have this information from the many lawsuits that were filed. But weirdly, we can't get video cam footage of this. The hotel's hallways are all monitored 24/7 by video camera, but we can't get footage of both these doors opening at 12:03 p.m. We have to presume that one of the doors was opened by Paddock because from 12:12 to 12:26 p.m., Paddock goes to the garage to move his car into valet, from the garage to valet. And we're told by the official narrative that this was Paddock's plan for escape. But anyone who has spent any time in Vegas knows that it takes forever to get your car from valet at any major hotel in Vegas. You can wait there for 20 minutes or more for your car to arrive from valet. So this would not be a good escape plan at all. But it just shows how stupid that the government and the media think we are. The government and the media are confident that Americans will just believe whatever the official narrative is, no matter how preposterous. So this was Paddock's escape plan, we're told. After killing 60 people, wounding 423 others, and firing off 1,100 rounds, Paddock would then come to valet and order up his car. Yeah, that makes sense. And the fake news tells us that the getaway failed because SWAT, the SWAT team, that didn't actually happen, there was just one SWAT guy there, courageously and very effectively moved in and stopped the killer. That was the narrative at first. And let's not forget that Paddock, Stephen Paddock, paid all of his taxes before this event. Why would he do that? So he's going to be meticulous about paying his taxes before killing 60 people and committing suicide? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And 12:29 p.m. is the last time we see Paddock on video. This is right after he goes to the garage to bring his car to valet. And here are the broken windows that Paddock was supposedly running back and forth from room to room, shooting from like a madman. The problem with that is that the 10 minutes of shooting he supposedly engaged in, was pretty continuous. There were brief pauses when ammo in one gun ran out, so another gun was grabbed. A sprint from one window, from one room to the other window in the other room would have taken quite a bit of time. We would be getting long pauses in the gunfire, which did not occur. We got short pauses. Plus, why didn't Paddock just continue shooting after the 10 minutes? He only kept up the shooting for 10 minutes before supposedly shooting himself at 10:16. Well, if there were other shooters in the room, and if Paddock had actually been killed sometime earlier, the other shooters were probably monitoring police scanners, and they would know when the police were arriving. And the first police helicopter arrived at 10:24. So this would have given these other shooters plenty of time to escape in the mayhem. And again, just a reminder to YouTube, this is all just speculation on my part. Opinion, parody, satire, entertainment. I know nothing. But the official narrative makes zero sense on any level the more that you look at it. And there's another reason we know that the police are lying about why it took them more than an hour to reach Paddock's room after he started shooting. Police said it took them that long to figure out which room the shots were coming from. But this Vegas police officer was fired for cowardice. He was on the 31st floor when the shooting started, right above him. But he froze, not wanting to venture up to the 32nd floor, where the shots were coming from, one floor above him.
As a rain of gunfire showered into the crowded music festival, Officer Cordell Hendricks arrived on the 31st floor of the Mandalay Bay with a trainee and armed security guards for nearly 5 minutes.
That's rapid fire.
Hendricks held his position, taking cover by a door as hundreds of rounds were fired from one floor above. With 58 people killed, Officer Hendricks was terminated by the Las Vegas Metro Police Department for performance of his duties. Mike Kronk survived the shooting.
I believe if this guy would have reacted, there would have been a lot fewer deaths and a lot less, casualties.
So police knew exactly where the gunfire was coming from, which room the gunfire was coming from, but they waited for 1 hour and 15 minutes to get into Paddock's room. Just allowed concert goers to be gunned down while the police waited. Not just this guy who was fired for cowardice, the entire Las Vegas Police Department, and only one SWAT team member showed up. What the heck were they waiting for? And here are yet more curiosities. On October 11th, Paddock's home in Reno was broken into. Police say the door was unlocked and opened by the wind. Does that sound credible to you? So Paddock's home was just left unguarded, he being the lead suspect in the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history? We also have these mysterious posts on 4chan on September 10, 2017, less than 3 weeks before the shooting. This anonymous poster seems to predict many details of the massacre. These posts predict a false flag attack in Vegas and warns people to stay away from large crowds in Vegas because the government is planning a, quote, high-incident project, end quote. And another curiosity, this woman says that about 40 minutes before the Vegas shooting, that another woman in front of the stage was warning the crowd that they were all about to die. And this unknown woman was removed by security. Here's what this witness says about this.
Somebody said something to you to tell me about that experience.
Yeah, so there was a lady who pushed her way forward into the concert venue, into the first row, and she started messing with another lady and told us that we were all going to die tonight.
Do you know why she was saying that? I mean, was this after the shots were fired? Or?
It was about 45 minutes before the shots were actually fired, but then she was escorted out by security.
Plus, there are many mysterious deaths of witnesses who contradicted the official narrative. In fact, at least 5 such inconvenient witnesses died unexpectedly within 1 month of the massacre. One of the most outspoken and compelling witnesses against the lone gunman narrative was Kimberly Suckamel, who died very unexpectedly in her sleep at the age of 28, 1 week after the massacre. Suckamel was present at the shooting. She saw it. She described to the media how the attack was carried out by multiple gunmen. Succamel's posts on Facebook went viral. She said that multiple gunmen were not just firing weapons into the crowd, but were also pursuing people and shooting them. But 1 week after her Facebook posting, she was found dead in bed at her Apple Valley, California home. One of her Facebook posts read as follows, quote, "We couldn't hide because they, and I do mean they, all caps, were chasing us. That exact moment is when I started to really panic. That is the exact moment in which I thought this was it. I was going to die. I was never going to see my family again. I kept looking back, expecting to see the gunmen, and I say men because there was more than one person. There was more than one gun firing. 100% more than one," end quote. And here's the debunking of this conspiracy theory by Snopes, which doesn't seem like much of a debunking at all. Snopes basically just says that Kimberly died of unknown causes in her sleep, which is exactly what I say here. Yes, this healthy 28-year-old woman died mysteriously in her sleep of an unknown cause 1 week after the massacre. Then on October 16th, just 16 days after the Vegas massacre, Dennis and Lorraine Carver died when the car they were in suddenly veered off the road near their home and exploded. The couple died instantly. Mrs. Carver was also posting on Facebook about multiple shooters. And their youngest daughter, Madison, described hearing a loud explosion outside her window on October 16th and running down the street to see her parents' car in flames. According to a statement by the Riverside County Fire Department, it took firefighters nearly an hour to put out the flames after the car crashed into the metal gate. Their youngest daughter, Brooke, reports that the FBI returned her mom's cell phone to her. The cell phone had been wiped clean of videos of the massacre. Remember, witnesses were asked to turn in their cell phones to police if they had useful video. And concert-goers report that their cell phones were eventually returned to them by the FBI, but without the videos. The videos had been wiped off the cell phones. Then 30 days after the massacre, a man named Orville Allman died mysteriously of a seizure in his sleep. And who was Orville Allman? Well, he was the attorney who represented the music festival, as well as represented Jason Aldean, the singer who was on stage when the shooting began. And after the massacre, Allman reportedly told a friend that his meetings with MGM, Las Vegas police, and the FBI were, quote, strange and complex, end quote. He was said to be rattled by the meetings, but provided no details. And then he died of a seizure 30 days after the massacre. As we learned in my videos, How and Why the CIA Killed JFK, one of the CIA's favorite ways of killing people is to cause seizures, brain aneurysms, and heart attacks. The assassination is then blamed on natural causes. But these untimely deaths of witnesses who contradicted the official narrative pretty publicly are probably all just coincidences. Nothing to see here. Move along, everyone. Okay, let's take a look some more at this Aaron Rouse character, director of the FBI office in Las Vegas. Who is Aaron Rouse? Well, before he was director of the FBI's Las Vegas office, Aaron Rouse was the section chief in the FBI's counterintelligence division at FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. Counterintelligence in the FBI is effectively CIA. He coordinates domestic counterintelligence operations with the CIA. Now, the CIA is prohibited by law from conducting operations inside the United States, prohibited by law from targeting Americans. But the FBI's counterintelligence operations are not prohibited by law from doing this. So FBI counterintelligence conducts tasks that the CIA is barred by law from doing. So the FBI's counterintel operations are CIA for practical purposes. They coordinate with the CIA. The CIA and the FBI, particularly FBI counterintelligence, are part of the same cabal. And when he was running the FBI's counterintelligence office at FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C., up until July of 2016, his office, along with Barack Obama's CIA and NSA, in coordination with the 2016 Hillary Clinton for President campaign, created the Russia hoax, which was an attempt to steal the 2016 election by framing Donald Trump as an agent of Russia, as an agent of Vladimir Putin. Now, as we all know, the Russia collusion hoax was proven to be fiction by the 2-year Mueller investigation, the Durham investigation, and the Horowitz investigation. And an attorney for the FBI, Kevin Kleinsmith, pled guilty to falsifying evidence in the FBI's attempted framing of then-candidate Donald Trump, at the very same time that Aaron Rouse was running the FBI's counterintelligence division. The Russia collusion hoax was a psyop against the American people by Barack Obama's CIA, National Security Agency, NSA, and the FBI's counterintelligence division, which was run by Aaron Rouse. So then weirdly, Aaron Rouse takes a step down in the FBI hierarchy, where he then runs the FBI investigation into the Las Vegas Massacre. On July 28, 2016, President Barack Obama's FBI director, James Comey, appointed FBI Special Agent Aaron Rouse to run the FBI's Las Vegas division. Pretty weird, quite the coincidence. Now, Sheriff Joe Lombardo, he's been subject to a lot of criticism, and deservedly so, but he was just taking orders from Aaron Rouse.
This is an ongoing investigation, but we are comfortable that the primary aggressor in this event has expired or passed away and is no longer a threat. There's been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false. Investigation and response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. In other words, it's not completely inaccurate. There is no conspiracy. Everybody understand that? No question, sir.
Did you see any evidence that he planned to survive this or try to escape?
Yes.
Can you tell us what was that?
I can't tell you. This press conference will probably be a little bit different than you experienced earlier. It's going to be more informational versus Q&A. Okay? And a couple of these items I will read from the narrative. Most of this conference will be done strictly through my narrative provided to you. There was no integrity question associated with that, questioning my integrity. But I'm here to tell you we are standing hand in hand with the FBI in the continuance of this investigation, in the beginning throes of it and in the continuance of it. Our portion at LVMPD has become contracted. We'll have a closing of the conference.
And Lombardo was rewarded with the governorship of Nevada for being a good soldier, for towing the propaganda line. Now, Aaron Rouse resigned from his position as head of the FBI in Las Vegas in February of 2021, seemingly long before normal retirement age, though I can't find his age anywhere, but just from the appearance of him. So let's look at the 4 possibilities for who is behind the Vegas massacre. Possibility number 1, perhaps the official narrative is correct. that the Vegas shooting was carried out by this lone gunman, this out-of-shape 64-year-old Stephen Paddock. So that's possibility number one. I think I've shown here that that's very unlikely. Possibility number two, it is true that ISIS took credit for the massacre, and this massacre does bear some resemblance to the ISIS attack on Paris, France in November of 2015, which killed 130 people. In the Paris attack, ISIS operatives used a combo of automatic rifles and bombs to kill these 130 people. But if this was ISIS or some kind of terrorist attack, the government would have no reason to cover that up. The CIA loves terrorist attacks because this provides more of an excuse to ramp up the national security state. There'd be no reason for the CIA, for the US government, for the national security state to cover up this attack if it was an ISIS attack or a terrorist attack or an attack by a foreign enemy. Such an attack would allow the government to increase its military expenditures, its national security expenditures. So no reason to cover that up. Possibility number three, a post by Antifa, an Antifa account on social media, also took credit for this attack. Now, we don't know if this post is a fake account, but the government has no incentive to cover up this attack by Antifa either, for really the same reason. Plus, Antifa just doesn't have the level of sophistication to carry out this kind of an attack. This was a highly sophisticated, well-run operation. Possibility number four, the CIA. The CIA is the only entity that has the power, the tools, the skills needed to launch an operation of this magnitude, and then to cover it up. And my videos on how and why the CIA killed JFK have a lot more hard evidence than I have here of the CIA being behind this massacre, but no other entity could pull this off without being detected. Let's listen to what Colonel Fletcher Prouty has to say about how we can be pretty sure the CIA killed JFK. Prouty was Chief of Special Operations for the Joint Chiefs of Staff during JFK's presidency.
I think without any question, it's what we called the use of hired gunmen. And this isn't new. In fact, this little manual here, which is called the Assassination Manual for Latin America, contains a line which says that, talking about Latin America, if possible, professional criminals will be hired to carry out specific selective jobs in quote, which means murders. Well, if this manual for Latin America, printed within the last few years, and a government manual, says that, there's no question but what the application of the same techniques was dated back in Kennedy's time. In fact, I know that from my own experience. You know, I was in that business in those days. So with that knowledge, you'll begin to realize that hired criminals, the way this book says, can be hired by anybody in power with sufficient money to pay them, but more importantly, with sufficient power to operate the cover-up ever after. Because you see, there's one thing to kill somebody. It's another thing to cover up the fact that you did it or that you hired somebody to do it. And that's more difficult. So they use the device of the Warren Commission report to cover up their hired killers. Now, who would hire the killers? And who has the power to put the Warren Commission report out over the top of the whole story? You see, you're dealing with a very high echelon of power. Otherwise, how could you have gotten people like the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to participate in the cover-up? The police in Dallas to participate in the cover-up, etc. And the media. You know, all the media, not just one or two newspapers, but none of them will print the story that other than Oswald killed the president with 3 bullets, something that's absolutely untrue.
And this same truth applies to the massacre in Las Vegas. A foreign power or terrorist group could certainly kill a lot of people at a concert, so that's possible. But only the CIA has the power to cover it up, which is much more difficult than killing a lot of people. Only the CIA has the power and influence to effectively force the media and big tech platforms to enforce a single propaganda narrative. But then there's the question of motive. Why would the CIA want to commit such an atrocity on American soil? Why would they want to kill all these Americans? Well, I don't know. But we do know that the CIA wanted to launch Operation Northwoods in 1961 against Fidel Castro in the wake of the CIA's botched Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba. And what was Operation Northwoods? Well, the CIA was planning a series of false flag attacks on American cities, and was then going to blame these attacks on American cities on Fidel Castro. The goal being to justify a full U.S. military invasion of Cuba to overthrow the Castro regime. And when President John F. Kennedy found out about Operation Northwoods, he fired then CIA Director Allen Dulles. And this is not just me saying this. You can look up Operation Northwoods in Wikipedia. I also talk about all this in my videos here on how and why the CIA killed JFK. And in these videos here, you will see that Lee Harvey Oswald was the fall guy in the CIA's killing of JFK. In the CIA's political assassinations, they always need a fall guy because that stops the investigation. Once the alleged killer is dead, no need to investigate further. This procedure, the need for a fall guy, is detailed in the CIA's manual on how to conduct assassinations. That was uncovered by Senator Frank Church in his Senate committee's famous investigations into the CIA's activities on American soil in the early 1970s. Investigations that uncovered Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird, the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments, Operation Chaos, and on and on and on. And here's Senator Frank Church holding up a gun used by the CIA to shoot poisoned darts at people. The target doesn't feel the dart pierce the skin, just keels over from a heart attack. Now, just for the record, I don't think I've actually proven here that the Vegas Massacre was a CIA operation. I think at a bare minimum, I have made the case here for probable cause to reopen the case. What we need is a thorough top-to-bottom investigation by President Trump's new FBI director, Kash Patel. It's quite possible the massacre in Vegas was a practice drill by the CIA for something bigger. And if you think that's just too beyond the pale for the CIA and our military-industrial complex, check this out. Our military was purposefully subjecting our troops to atomic bomb radiation just to see what would happen. So yeah, the CIA and our national security state is capable of any level of evil. How does the CIA and the national security state increase its power? Well, the modus operandi of the CIA and government in general is to create fake crises. The way government ratchets up its power over the American people is to manufacture one crisis after another. President Obama's chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, once famously said, quote, "Never let a crisis go to waste," in advancing so-called progressivism. And President Trump will have a very tough time clearing out the CIA, as Democrat Senate Leader Chuck Schumer cheerfully warned Trump back in 2017.
But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
Or perhaps the CIA's motive for the massacre was this. President Trump was in his first year of his first term as president. He was in the midst of fending off the Russia collusion hoax investigation in 2017. That was created by the Obama CIA, FBI, and NSA in coordination with the Hillary Clinton campaign. Might be that the Vegas massacre was just another way of causing chaos and disrupting the Trump presidency early in his first term. And after all, attendees at this concert were nearly 100% Trump supporters. This was a country music festival with Jason Aldean as the lead performer. And the shooting started while Jason Aldean was performing. The Vegas massacre might literally have been carried out for fun by the CIA, for amusement. Yes, they despise Trump supporters that much. They see Trump supporters as less than human. So if you're the CIA and you want to hone your mass killing skills, might as well practice on a crowd of Trump supporters. So maybe that was it. All I know is that the official narrative isn't true, not close to true. If the CIA and Deep State are not behind this, why the cover-up? Why the silencing of anyone who questions the official story? Why all the censorship? Why all the provable lies? Let's hope President Trump and FBI Director Kash Patel get to the bottom of this. Sunlight is always the best disinfectant, so justice can be served. Well, that's all I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Be sure to follow me on X. I'm posting all the time. I link to my X account below. Also, check out my books on Amazon, available in all the formats, also linked to below. One is Bitcoin, a beginner's guide. Bitcoin is freedom money because it's unconfiscatable money, so long as you self-custody your Bitcoin. And Bitcoin protects you from the government's fiat money printer because there will never be more than 21 million bitcoins for 8 billion people. Bitcoin removes humans from the governance of the money. So Bitcoin is uncorruptible money. Bitcoin separates money from state. Bitcoin is the Second Amendment for your money. If the crap hits the fan here and we become a totalitarian country, you're going to want to be able to carry your wealth with you. That's what Bitcoin is for. The second book is Win Life: Success Skills Schools Don't Teach. This book is primarily aimed at young people who are just getting launched in life, but will help anyone who wants to be among the top 1% of income earners. Or you might have more modest goals. Maybe you just want to lose 20 pounds. This book will help you achieve that goal as well. This book will help you achieve most of what you want to achieve in life, assuming we can defeat the CIA and the totalitarians and we still have a civilization left to enjoy.